In a small town filled with charm, a group of friends formed a garage band that brought life and energy to their neighborhood. They called themselves the Riff Raiders. With guitars slung over their shoulders and drums thumping in the background, they poured their hearts into creating catchy tunes and lively performances. The Riff Raiders played a mix of rock, punk, and a sprinkle of pop, creating a sound that was fresh and exciting. Their unique style blended powerful melodies with relatable lyrics about friendship, dreams, and the ups and downs of teenage life. They spent countless afternoons jamming in their garage, where the walls echoed with their music and laughter. Their big break came unexpectedly when they started sharing short clips of their performances on TikTok. To their surprise, the videos quickly gained traction, attracting attention from young listeners eager for something different. Their following grew rapidly as fans began to share their clips and dance to their catchy rhythms. The boys loved seeing the joy their music brought to others and were thrilled at the thought of taking their garage sound beyond the confines of their street. Word spread fast around town. Soon, everyone was talking about the Riff Raiders, and they became the soundtrack to late-night hangouts and weekend parties. Friends followed them on social media, giving them encouragement and support as they pursued their passion for music. But not everyone was thrilled about their rise in popularity. Across the street lived Karen, who was less than impressed with the noise echoing from the boys' garage. As the band racked up views, Karen's complaints only grew louder, setting the stage for an unforgettable showdown between her daily grievances and the contagious spirit of the boys' music. With every note they played, the excitement built for what was to come next. Across the street from the Riff Raiders lived Karen, a woman in her 50s with a love for peace and quiet. While the boys poured their hearts into their music, Karen could only hear what she called devil noise. She had lived in the neighborhood for years and cherished her serene evenings, often tending to her garden or reading books on her porch. The vibrant sounds of the band began to disturb her tranquil routine. With every riff and drumbeat that echoed through the neighborhood, Karen's irritation grew. To her, the boys' music was chaotic and harsh, completely unworthy of the praise it was receiving online. She would sit on her porch, arms crossed and brow furrowed, rolling her eyes as the infectious melodies drifted her way. Her friends warned her that she was becoming the neighborhood Grinch, but she didn't care, the music had to stop. As the band gained popularity, Karen felt it was her duty to take action. She started documenting her daily frustration in a journal filled with elaborate complaints about the Riff Raiders. Each entry detailed how their music disrupted her peaceful life and how she feared it was corrupting the youth around her. "Who needs this rock nonsense when there are beautiful birds singing outside?" she would grumble. Finally, driven by her mounting dissatisfaction, Karen filed a noise complaint with the Homeowners Association, HOA. She hoped this would bring an end to what she viewed as an unbearable racket. Little did she know that her strong disapproval would soon lead to unexpected consequences, setting off a chain of events that would not only change her life but also transform the boys' fortune in ways she couldn't imagine. As she prepared for battle against the devil noise, Karen became increasingly determined to reclaim her peaceful existence. Every morning, as the sun peeked over the horizon, Karen would brace herself for another day filled with the sounds of the Riff Raiders. It started with a soft strum of guitar strings that gradually built into a cacophony of drums and raucous vocals. As she poured her morning coffee, she could hear the unmistakable chords drifting through her open window, filling her once peaceful home with what she considered a sonic assault. At first, she tried to ignore it, hoping it would just fade away. But as days turned into weeks, her patience wore thin. Each time the band rehearsed outside, Karen found herself growing more and more agitated. She would shake her head in disbelief, muttering to herself about how young people had no respect for those who valued quiet. "What kind of music is this anyway? It's not music, it's just noise," she grumbled. Karen took to pacing on her porch, arms crossed and a scowl etched on her face as if she were guarding her personal fortress against an invasion of sound. Her friends noticed her frustration and suggested she let loose a little, maybe even give the band a chance. But Karen wasn't interested in any kind of music appreciation, she had made up her mind that their sound was simply unacceptable. As the band's popularity soared on TikTok, Karen felt increasingly isolated in her complaints. Each day after work, she would return to find them still jamming away, oblivious to her distress. With every thumping beat echoing in the air, she documented her grievances in meticulous detail, how the noise interrupted her gardening sessions and disrupted her evening reading time. Frustration bubbled within her like a simmering pot, leading to heightened determination to end what she perceived as an unbearable nuisance that invaded every corner of her life. One afternoon, as the Riff Raiders were finishing up a particularly energetic rehearsal, the boys gathered in their garage, laughing and high-fiving each other. They couldn't ignore the daily complaints from Karen anymore. They decided to turn her dramatic reactions into something fun. Inspired by their growing TikTok following, they grabbed their phones and started recording. As they played their latest song, they zoomed in on Karen's porch across the street. With every chord, she was pacing, her arms flailing as she shouted about how their music was ruining her life. The boys couldn't help but chuckle at her animated expressions, the way her eyebrows shot up, or how her hands seemed to dance as she emphasized her points about young disrespect. They knew they had to capture these moments on film. They soon turned their recordings into a series of short clips titled Karen's Karaoke Meltdown. Each video showcased her escalating frustration. One day she was dramatically shaking her fist in the air, another day she had a towel over her head as if trying to shield herself from the sounds. The boys edited the clips together with funny captions and sound effects, turning her complaints into comedic gold. As they posted the videos on TikTok, they added hashtags like #KarenKaraoke and #DevilNoise. To their amazement, the videos went viral almost overnight. People loved watching Karen's spirited rants as much as they enjoyed the band's music. The more views they got, the more creative ideas flowed. Fans began sharing their own videos mimicking Karen's reactions or dancing along to the Riff Raiders tunes while parodying her lines. What started as a way to cope with Karen's displeasure became a hilarious trend, further pushing the band into the limelight and creating a sense of community around both their music and Karen's exaggerated antics. Little did they know, this would lead to even bigger surprises ahead. One evening, as the boys finished editing their latest video, they had a feeling this one would be different. They decided to post a clip of Karen mid-rant, her arms flailing and voice rising as she shouted about their devil noise disturbing her peace. The video was raw and unfiltered, capturing the sheer emotion of her complaints. They added catchy background music and some playful sound effects to enhance the comedy of the moment before hitting the upload button. As soon as they posted it, the views began to climb rapidly. Initially, it was just a trickle, but soon the numbers surged like wildfire. Notifications pinged incessantly as likes and comments flooded in. People were delighted by Karen's over-the-top reactions, finding humor in her frustrations as they shared it with friends. The clip quickly became a trending topic on TikTok, with users tagging their own reactions and adding humorous commentary. Within hours, Karen's Karaoke Meltdown was everywhere on social media. Memes sprung up featuring stills from the video alongside funny captions or references to popular songs. Fans began creating their own parodies of Karen's dramatic moments, some even dressed up like her while mimicking her expressions. The boys were ecstatic, they had turned what began as frustration into an unexpected phenomenon. Before long, local news outlets caught wind of the viral sensation and reached out for interviews. The Riff Raiders found themselves thrust into the spotlight, garnering attention not only for their music but also for their newfound fame stemming from Karen's antics. With each passing hour, excitement swelled among bandmates as they realized that this viral moment could change everything for them. Little did they know that this humorous twist would lead them to bigger opportunities than they ever dreamed possible. Their phones buzzed with notifications while laughter rang out from the garage. Unbeknownst to them, a whirlwind of events was about to unfold beyond their wildest imagination. As the video of Karen's dramatic rant continued to spread across TikTok and other social media platforms, the Riff Raiders experienced a surge in popularity that they had never anticipated. Their follower count skyrocketed, jumping from a modest number to thousands within days. Excited notifications flooded their phones, each one bringing new fans eager to hear their music and join the fun. The boys couldn't believe their eyes as they watched their TikTok followers climb rapidly. Their once small band was now on the radar of music lovers far beyond their neighborhood. Fans began sharing their own videos dancing to the Riff Raiders songs, some even recreating the moments from the viral video with playful twists. It felt like a whirlwind of energy and excitement, with each new follower bringing a sense of validation to their hard work. Their social media presence grew in tandem with their popularity. Now, they were not just musicians but influencers as well. They started receiving messages from fans expressing how much they loved the humor in the videos and how relatable Karen's rants were to them. Soon, they were collaborating with other popular TikTok creators, making duets and challenges that showcased both their music and the comedic aspects of Karen's complaints. In addition to gaining followers, offers began pouring in from local venues wanting to host live shows featuring the Riff Raiders. The boys found themselves booking gigs almost every weekend, performing for enthusiastic crowds who cheered them on. With each performance, they introduced new songs inspired by their experiences, adding to their growing repertoire. The fame had transformed their lives in ways they had never imagined. The Riff Raiders embraced this newfound spotlight, excited about the opportunities ahead. They realized that their humorous take on Karen's complaints not only entertained people but also connected them in a special way, turning their music into a shared experience that would resonate with audiences everywhere. With dreams of recording an album on the horizon, they could hardly wait to see what other surprises awaited them on this incredible journey. As the weeks passed, the Riff Raiders reveled in their newfound fame and the excitement that came with it. They performed at local venues almost every weekend, drawing bigger crowds each time. Fans sang along to their catchy tunes, and the boys felt a sense of accomplishment they had only dreamed of before. But little did they know that even bigger opportunities were just around the corner. One afternoon, while they were rehearsing for an upcoming show, a notification popped up on their phones that sent shockwaves through the room. It was an email from a record label interested in signing them. After discovering their videos on TikTok, the label had been captivated by their unique sound and the humor that resonated so well with audiences. Thrilled at the possibility, the boys gathered around to read further. It was as if they were living a scene straight out of a movie. The email detailed the interest in offering them a record deal, which would allow them to record and distribute their music on a much larger scale. The boys jumped up in excitement, high-fiving each other as they processed what this meant for their future. This record deal represented a major milestone in their musical journey, a chance to turn their passion into a professional career. As they began discussions with the label, they felt both nervous and exhilarated. They envisioned working in a real studio, collaborating with experienced producers, and sharing their music with fans across the country. It was precisely what they had hoped for when they started jamming in that little garage. While contemplating this new direction, they also realized that Karen's complaints had unknowingly propelled them to success. What began as frustration had become a stepping stone toward their dreams. With optimism flowing through them, the Riff Raiders knew that with hard work and creativity, they could truly make their mark on the music scene. As they prepared for this new chapter, they couldn't wait to see how far their journey would take them. While the Riff Raiders basked in their newfound fame, Karen was about to experience a twist of her own. After her complaints about the band went viral, she unwittingly became an internet sensation. The video of her animated rants, dubbed Karen Karaoke Meltdown, took off on social media, spreading like wildfire across platforms beyond TikTok. As the clip circulated, people couldn't help but find humor in Karen's passionate outbursts. Memes and parodies emerged, showcasing her exaggerated expressions and dramatic gestures. Twitter exploded with hashtags like #KarenKaraokeMeltdown, as users shared their favorite moments from the videos and created their own comedic interpretations of her complaints. Some even began remixing her rants into catchy songs, further propelling her into the spotlight. At first, Karen was taken aback by how her frustrations had turned her into a viral character. Friends and neighbors joked with her about becoming a celebrity overnight. "You've got to embrace it," they encouraged, trying to lighten her mood. While she hadn't intended to be famous for her complaints about devil noise, she found herself laughing along with the jokes, albeit reluctantly. Soon enough, Karen's sudden popularity led to interviews with local news outlets. Reporters sought her perspective on the phenomenon, asking how it felt to be both a meme and a symbol of humorous frustration. As she sat in front of cameras, she couldn't help but feel a mix of embarrassment and amusement at her situation. The unexpected attention did have its perks. Karen began receiving invitations to participate in community events and even appeared on a few talk shows. People were drawn to her quirky persona, and she became a local celebrity in her own right. Although she still had reservations about the Riff Raiders' music, she started to appreciate the joy it brought to others. Her initial mission to silence them had transformed into something much larger than herself. Now, instead of being just the neighbor who complained, she was part of an amusing tale that connected everyone in her community. As the whirlwind of fame continued for both the Riff Raiders and Karen, they began to navigate their new roles in the spotlight with a comedic twist. The boys, now regular performers at local venues, found themselves juggling rehearsals, shows, and a flurry of social media engagements. They embraced their status as influencers, posting behind-the-scenes clips that showcased their personalities beyond the music. Each video featured playful banter and antics, including shout-outs to Karen and her unexpected celebrity status, turning their rivalry into a friendly joke. Meanwhile, Karen was also adjusting to her place in this newfound fame. She began hosting community events where she would share her experiences as both a concerned neighbor and an internet sensation. With a self-deprecating sense of humor, she often joked about her devil noise rants and how they had unexpectedly made her famous. Local kids even started calling her Miss Karaoke, further endearing her to the community. She embraced the attention by organizing karaoke nights in town where people could perform their favorite songs while poking fun at her viral moments. In an amusing turn of events, the Riff Raiders invited Karen to join them on stage during one of their performances for a special karaoke segment. Hesitant at first but encouraged by friends and fans, she ultimately agreed. The crowd erupted with laughter and applause as she took the mic and belted out a popular song alongside the boys. The duet became an instant hit on social media, showcasing how both sides could come together through humor and music. As they all adapted to their new realities, a bond formed between Karen and the Riff Raiders. They realized that their quirks complemented each other in surprising ways. Karen's spirited complaints brought energy to the band's performances, while the boys' playful teasing provided Karen with a fresh perspective on life. Together, they created a heartwarming tale that not only entertained but also united their small town in laughter, a reminder that sometimes conflict can lead to unexpected friendships and joy. In the end, the journey of the Riff Raiders and Karen serves as a delightful reminder of how unexpected events can drastically change lives and shift perspectives. What began as a simple conflict over noise transformed into a community spectacle that brought people together in laughter and friendship. The boys learned that their music had the power to unite not just fans but also former foes, like Karen, who had once seen their passion as nothing more than devil noise. The entire town became more vibrant as neighbors embraced their differences, sharing jokes about Karen's internet fame and celebrating the Riff Raiders' musical successes. This newfound camaraderie brought a spark to the community, with karaoke nights becoming a beloved tradition where everyone could sing and dance, regardless of their previous opinions on music. Karen's journey also highlighted the humor in life's little absurdities. Instead of being the disgruntled neighbor, she embraced her role as Miss Karaoke, confidently taking the stage and even poking fun at herself. Her energetic presence and willingness to laugh at her own misgivings made her a beloved figure, proving that sometimes the best way to bridge divides is through laughter. As the band prepared for their first album release, they included a special track dedicated to Karen, celebrating their unique friendship. It was a fun reminder that even in the midst of conflict, joy and connection can blossom. Ultimately, this charming story illustrates how embracing differences can lead to unexpected friendships. From noisy garage rehearsals to laughter-filled community events, the Riff Raiders and Karen showed that life is often sweeter when we let go of our preconceived notions and open our hearts to the surprising turns life can take. In embracing each other's quirks, they found common ground, a rhythm that united them all in a celebration of sound, humor, and community spirit.